Welcome to the School of Cooperative Individualism, an educational project I established in 1997. My name is Edward Dodson. In this video, I will provide visitors to the school with an introduction to cooperative individualism as a school of thought and the information and materials found on the website. As a young person, I was drawn to the centuries-long debates on what is required to establish truly just societies. I found important insights in the writings of many of history's most thoughtful figures. Thomas Paine's book, Rights of Man, provided for me the fundamental principles required. I was then introduced in the 1970s to the works of philosopher Mortimer J. Adler. His book, The Common Sense of Politics, is a remarkable treatise on conditions required to meet an objective test of just laws justly enforced. At the beginning of the decade of the 1980s, a fortunate discovery added to the direction of my thinking and my future work. While considering options to begin work on an advanced degree, I discovered the existence of a year-long program in the study of political economy offered by the area extension of the New York-based Henry George School of Social Science. Henry George, I learned, was a 19th century political economist and author of a best-selling book titled Progress and Poverty. Self-taught, Henry George emerged in the 1880s as an important journalist and newspaper editor who possessed a strong social conscience and a remarkable intellect. His books, addresses, and articles formed a body of work that challenged conventional beliefs and offered clear explanations of why all industrialized and industrializing societies experienced repeating periods of economic boom and bust, as well as continued generational poverty. After completing the coursework at the Henry George School, I was invited to join the school's all-volunteer faculty, teaching the courses I had only recently completed. A few years later, I began my work on a Master of Liberal Arts degree. In 1989, shortly before completing my degree work, I began to develop material for a course I would teach for several years at the Henry George School titled Liberty and the Just Society. This course was designed to better prepare students for a clear appreciation and understanding of Henry George. The research required to develop this course eventually grew into a 3-volume work titled The Discovery of First Principles. An annual conference is held to celebrate the movement initiated by Henry George, attracting academics as well as activists. In 1994, the conference was held in the utopian community founded by people who wanted to put Henry George's ideas into action. They acquired land on Mobile Bay in Alabama and established a single tax colony of Fairhope. At this conference, one of the speakers was historian Paul Gaston, a professor of history at the University of Virginia. His address explained that the founders of Fairhope embraced principles they referred to as cooperative individualism. I immediately made the connection not just to Henry George's philosophy, but to many of the perspectives held by Thomas Paine and Mortimer Adler. It took a few years, but in 1997, I took the first steps to create an online presence for the School of Cooperative Individualism. My immediate priority was to bring together on the website the key writings of Paine, George, and Adler, the 3 primary architects of cooperative individualism, as well as history's main political economists, political scientists, and moral philosophers. Within a relatively short time, this online library grew to include dozens, then hundreds of articles and papers. A number of important books not readily available elsewhere have also been scanned and made available online as well. The single tax movement that began during Henry George's lifetime has involved thousands of people, many of whom dedicated their lives in an effort to see George's vision realized. I decided to document this history by creating a biographical history of the Georgist movement at the School of Cooperative Individualism. Personal details are provided as discovered in the movement's key periodicals and other sources. Each person's contributions are listed by their country of residence, including links to any articles and published papers they have written. The website also includes links to the websites of related groups and organizations devoted to education, publishing, and public policy. There is also an online encyclopedia on political economy, where articles are listed and linked according to subject category. Pages directly take visitors to the writings of Paine and Henry George. Another project I undertook was to bring together the correspondence of Thomas Jefferson, searchable by addressee and also organized by subject matter. Spend time at the school's homepage and you will discover other features of what the school has to offer visitors. I am certainly anxious and willing to hear from anyone who has questions or comments about the school's website, about Henry George, about cooperative individualism, or any other related issues. So again, welcome, and thanks for visiting the School of Cooperative Individualism.